Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hello. Hopefully you can hear me now. Let's get rid of that background as well. All right. Hello. Welcome to this extra little live on a Wednesday morning here. It's 10:30 here in California, coming from Emeryville, from Oakland, California. Excited to spend the morning with you all. Thank you for all the hellos and the comments. We have folks joining from everywhere, some folks on their lunch break. Perfect. I'm glad this was good timing. Hello, hello. Well, I'm excited to be with you all. We got back from Tucson at the end of last week, and it was just like it was the best week. We had so much fun. I just getting the chance to hang out with so many like incredibly special people in person was just like so just heart filling, and it definitely like just got me feeling so creative and so inspired, which is like the best feeling, right? Um, and so I just am feeling really excited to be making with you all. And so I've started to scheme up a few different classes, some demos that I can do with you all. So for this first one, I I just wanted to keep going with the fun that I had last week. So last week, Danielle, I got to be in person with Danielle at the John Bead booth in Tucson, and she did this gorgeous earring and bracelet set inspired by the colors of Tucson, by the desert, by Southwest. Um, and it was just a really beautiful piece. And we had so many other colors of these two-hole rhombus beads and roller beads that I was just so curious, like, if we took this design and used it in totally different colors, like, what would that look like? How would it change the feel? And I love seeing where it could go. So let me showing you what we're gonna play around with. So I'll add my other camera. Here we go. Perfect. All right. So this is what we made. Well, what Danielle made, and then I gotta actually finish off the bracelet. So I don't know if everyone's seen the finished one. So this was the bracelet. I started with Danielle and was able to finish off. These are using two-hole rhombus beads from John Bead, as well as rolla beads and some 8 seed beads with a butterfly clasp. So we did the bracelet and these matching earrings. They're so beautiful. This design, it just has a great statement feel to it. I mean, it just really stands out as being something so unique, but it's so quick to put together. Like because you're using seed beading techniques, you're using right angle weave, but with fairly large beads, so it just moves so fast. So those are the colors we did last week, very bright and cheerful. But I wanted to take it in a totally different direction. So you're seeing a little sneak peek up here. I wanted to go a little more sophisticated, a little just maybe a little more classic. So I decided to go with reds, blacks, and cream. So I first totally just copied her exact color layout, but just swapping in the colors. So this is the one I made first. So it's actually the exact same design, if you can believe it. Here, let me move some things out of the way. Here's my white background. So this one is same exact design, but just swapping in the colors. You can see like the red is there in place of the pink. We have the black Picasso in place of the aqua opal. And then we have that cream white stone in place of the blue stone. So it's following the same pattern. So for this one, you would just follow exactly what we did last week, but just switching up the colors. But then I wanted to just keep going, keep exploring. So after that, I came up with another pattern with these colors with this one. So I think this one is, I guess we can call that like a chevron pattern. How I kind of in this one I decided to like group the colors together, made it a little more of a color blocking kind of that sort of bright graphic design kind of feel. So I thought today I would show off how I did this one since it's a little bit different. The beads are in a different order, and how I use the beads in the center was a little different. So the plan today is to show off this design and make the matching earring. So today is all about the earring designs. So if you caught last week's, you will have seen how to do this, but I hope you know, you might have a chance to see it again today, or maybe it's your first time seeing the design. But I know it can be helpful to just see a process again, just to get more comfortable with it. So let's start with the materials list. So the basics, of course, you will need some thread. I am using the Beadalon Wildfire thread in the 0.006 inch diameter. I'm using black. I thought that was a nice look with these. I mean, there will be times when, you know, you'll see the black thread on the side of the beads, but even though you see it, I feel like black makes sense with this design. But you could totally mix it up and use whichever color thread you would like. Oh, hi Danielle. It's so cool that you're here. Yeah, I finished the bracelet and I did not want to stop, so I kept going. Sally asked how heavy are the earrings? I think they're pretty light. I don't, yeah, I would say they're pretty light. These beads just really aren't that heavy. It's just glass. So, okay, so we talked about the thread that you will need. We've got, so all the items that you see here, or almost all of them, we've got in our shop at samsbeadshop.com. I made a collection of everything that's in here. So Jesse can probably throw that in the comments soon. So if you want to get the exact same things, the exact same thread and needles, we've got that in the shop. So that was the thread. Then I'm just using, I think these are size 10. We've only got one size in the shop right now, so I use it for everything, and I haven't had any issues. And then for the beads, these are the 2-hole rhombus beads, and I've got them in 3 different colors. This is the jet black Picasso, the white stone. I think we have both a white stone and a cream stone, but I like the more white one for this, as well as red silk. And then I did the rolla beads. Those are these kind of large seed beads. I have them in the red silk Picasso and the jet black Picasso. And we've got some ear wires. And then the only thing that is not currently in the shop, we are a little bit low on seed beads right now. We're going to work on getting those restocked. For this, I did the size 8 Toho seed beads in the Ceylon light ivory color. I thought was a nice match for the white stone. That's the only thing we don't have in the shop. So grab another color from your stash to pair along with this. And I know I could totally, we do have some, you know, some few different blue options. You could totally swap out the black for like some of our turquoise colors, and you could totally have like a red, white, and blue for Independence Day this summer. So lots of ways to go with it. So that is our materials list. So I guess let's start making. Let's get going. All right, for the first step, so all of this is what I learned from Danielle last week, what she taught me. So I think it's kind of cool. You're getting to see it from, I mean, I'm definitely newer to seed beading and to bead weaving. And I've learned just so much so quickly from Danielle and so many amazing, I mean, from Jill Wiseman's videos and Gina from Orchid and Opal. I mean, I've just been like soaking up so many videos and learning from all these amazing designers. So kind of get to see a more beginner seed beater take on these projects and see kind of what I've learned, what tips have helped me. So step 1 that I loved was just to lay out the design, because that'll make it a lot easier when you're trying, you know, when you're actually threading on the beads. If you just lay them out, it makes it so much simpler to know what to pick out. Let's see if I can get the camera any lower. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that will help. So first I am laying out the design, and I'm doing it to match this one. This is what we're going. So I've got the black chevron at the bottom, the black Picasso, then the red silk, and then that white stone. So I've got that laid out. Now I'm going to cut some of my thread. We did a 1 arm's length. So I'll just do that off camera real quick. I'm going to cut that an arm's length, so half your wingspan. And I'm sure I think I still had plenty of extra, but I like not running out so that I don't have to add more thread. And then one of my favorite tricks from Danielle is to smash the end of the thread with any type of flat nose pliers. These ones haven't been curved, but you definitely don't need that for this. But something to just really flatten the end of that, because it makes it a lot easier to add on the needle. I'm going to hold Now I just like to like hold the thread in my between my fingers, and I like to thread the needle onto the thread instead of the thread through the needle. That's kind of a tongue twister, but I'm holding the thread and I'm laying the needle over it. I think it only goes through a hair and I have to pull it through more. There we go. If you flatten more of it, that probably would make that even easier. So got that on. Just gonna have a few inches fold over at the top. Doesn't really matter how much, so just fold it over. So just the top of it is a double strand, but most of it is a single strand. So now I'm gonna start picking up my beads. So I've got them laid out right here. So I'm gonna start at the top of my design. Why not? I'm gonna start and I'm just gonna pick up all 4 of these beads in that first circle. And it wouldn't really matter which direction I go around this circle. If I go clockwise or counterclockwise, it'll be in the right order. I'm just going around. That way just follow. The biggest thing is just following the pattern, going around in a circle and picking them up in that order. And that way you'll know that everything is in the right order. All right, so I've got 4 beads. And now I want to complete the loop. I don't want these in a line. I want them in a circle together. So I'm going to go back through that first bead. So actually, let me move this down the thread a little bit. I'm going to leave, I don't know, maybe a 6 or 8-inch tail. We're just going to be tying off that thread at the end, so enough to feel comfortable tying. So now I'm going to go back through the first bead, but I'm going to go just back through every bead. That way I'm reinforcing everything. I was actually just able to do that, as you saw, all at once. And then I'm going to pull that. See if that was a good idea to do it all at once or not. But as long as I just kind of shape it as I go. I don't want that in a line. All right, there we go. As I pulled that tighter, it's now in a round. So it's in a round, and I've gone through and reinforced all of them once. And now I need to think about where I want my thread to be. So I'm putting this white back at the top. So I want my thread to be at the bottom, because now we're going to add that second circle with our black Picasso beads. So let's see where this is coming out of. So I'm coming out of this right one. So I'm just going to keep going around until I get to the bottom bead. And I'm still using what's now become this inside hole on the beads. They have 2 holes, so I'm making sure to stay on that inside hole. Just keeping my tail thread out of the way. Yeah, these beads are exactly the same on both sides, so you don't have to be worried about finding the front or the back. They are identical, which makes them very easy to use. All right, so try to pull it a little bit tight so it's not too much loose thread there. All right, so I am now, this is my working thread right here, the one with my needle. So it is now coming out of the bottom, which is perfect. But before I can add on the other beads, I actually need to be on the other side of this rhombus bead. So I'm coming out of the inside hole. So now I'm going to do what Danielle called a turn. I'm going to just turn or step up. I'm going to just turn around this bead and go through the other holes, go in the other way. So I'm coming out of those inside holes, and now I'm going to go back through that same bead on that outside hole. There we go. All right, let's flip it back just so it's always good to try to bring it back so you're holding it in the direction that the final piece. That way that helps with making sure you grab the right beads. Now I'm coming out of the outer side of this bottom one, so I can add a few more. So these, just laid this out again just to make sure we do everything right. This is what we're going to do. So in this case, it's 3 of the exact same color, so it doesn't really matter, which bead I pick up first. If this design, in the original design, it would be multicolor. So in that case, it'd be even more important that you pick them up in the right order. So let's grab these 3. All right, let's bring those down. Move some of these other beads out of the way so they're not distracting. So here we go. We've got 3 of those Rhombus beads, and now I want to complete the circle. So I am going to go through that, back through that top red rhombus bead, through that what was the outside hole. That'll make this into my next round. Oh, let's see. Is this bottom? What did I do on this one? Oh, that one was imperfect. It just, oh, that's funny. The hole on this one was a little, let's see, I might swap that out. All right. The hole on this bottom bead was just a little imperfect, which it happens. These are, handcrafted beads of the Czech Republic. I'm going to actually swap out and I'm just going to take out that bead and swap it in for another. The hole was a little more centered and not quite as over as I would like. So no problem. Each set comes with 15 beads. You only need 6 of the black ones across these earrings, so that is not an issue. All right, swap that in for something else. All right, now I've got my 3 on. I think it's kind of nice. You're getting to see a little bit of my troubleshooting. I just kind of noticed it wasn't fitting. Oh, all right. So here we are. We've got those 3 on. And now I need to go back to that top red bead so that way we can make it into a full loop. I'm just going to move my tail thread out of the way so it don't want it to get tangled in there. There we go. Just pulled that. And now we have the base of our rhombus. I'm going to reinforce that just to make it a little sturdier, help it keep its shape. So I'm coming out of that top red bead. I'm just going to go through all the inside holes all the way around to reinforce it. So actually, after I did the class with Danielle, I was doing a little bit more research about these 2-hole rhombus beads because I was just kind of curious where they came from. So John Bead actually had a contest where they asked folks to come up with a design for a brand new bead. I mean, what a cool idea. Like, can you come up with your own shape, your own style of a bead that they would then produce? And so I believe it was Lena Gillespie, who a very talented jewelry designer, who decided to why not? Let me give it a try. Let me see it. I think with only a few days left in the competition, she came up with this design. She sent it in, and she won. She was chosen. And so her idea for a bead, John Bead produced it, and so this design is only a few years old. It's really a brand new bead to the market. That was designed by Lena's here. Awesome. That was just designed by a fellow jewelry maker, which I think is so cool. She just had an idea for how, I know, Lena I'm sure can tell us more, but that was what I was reading about, and I think that is such a cool story. So if you got an idea for a bead, maybe you can get it made. All right, so I went around and reinforced it. So now I need to think, after that, I need to think about where I want my thread to be. So our next step is to add our little embellishments. I want to add what I have in the middle. So in the original one, we use both 8 seed beads and a rolla bead. These are the 4.5 millimeter check glass rolla beads, kind of like an extra large seed bead is what they feel like to me. We use both. In order to go with more of this color blocking effect, I didn't want to mix in any of that cream color lower down. So I actually only used the rolla bead in the center. And I chose ones that matched. So I chose our rolla bead in the black Picasso at the bottom. And then we also had a red silk with Picasso on it. So not it's not identical. This one has Picasso on it, but I think that even though it makes it a little different than the rhombus beads next to it, it does match, kind of brings forward the Picasso from below. So the question is, all right, where do I need my thread to be so that I can add this on? So we actually want it coming out of the bottom bead. So I'm going to keep going around until it is coming out of the bottom bead. So I'm coming out of the red one. Going to go down that inside hole. Oh, it does. I just said it has Valentine's Day vibes. I like that wasn't even what I was thinking, but you're right. The red and the white is totally works for this time of year. All right, can I keep going until I'm at the bottom? All right, so now I'm coming out of the bottom and I'm ready to add my embellishment. So in this case, I'm just going to take one roll of bead in the jet black Picasso, which just adds a little bit of extra texture, which I love on bead. So I'm going to string that on. I'm going to bring it actually right away down to the bottom. And that will let me figure out where I need to bring my thread next. So I'm going to lay that across because I want this to go diagonally across and lay like that. So now that my thread's here in the diagonal corner, I want to go in out of this bottom bead, and now I want to go through the top bead. But by laying this diagonal, I know which way I need to go to that top bead. So I want to go in from this side. So I've gone diagonally across. So I'm now on this side of the red bead. So I'm going to go through it on its bottom hole. And I'm just going to make sure as I tighten this that the bead stays on the top. I don't want to get it getting tangled at the bottom. Oop. Something happened here. One sec. All right, I'm going to pull that out. Something got tangled. I'm not sure what. So I think my best bet is just going to take the needle off and just pull that out. Maybe I can then figure out where it got tangled. And like the best bet when things look off is just undo it a little bit. Okay, now it looks fine. All right. Actually, I didn't even take it all the way out. So yeah, it looks totally fine, not tangled. So let me just pull that again. I don't know what happened there. That looks fine now. Who knows? All right. So now I have my embellishment. Now I want to add the embellishment to the top one as well. So we're coming out of the bottom hole on this red. I want to add the embellishment to the top. So I need to do a turn or step up around that red bead to get to the top of it. So since I took off my needle as I was troubleshooting that, I'm just going to add it back on. I think I might just for good measure, squeeze it with my flat nose one more time, maybe a little bit. Yeah, and I kind of went even a little bit farther down the thread, which should make it easier to put on. Oh yeah, that was so much easier to thread. And if folks have any other questions about these beads, about this design, definitely let me know, and I can either help answer. I think Jesse and Sam might be in the comments. So I am coming out of the bottom of this red bead. I need to get up to the top to add an embellishment over there. So I'm just going to do a turn around this bead and now go through the top side and pull that through. Just pulling that to help it sit well. What's going on here? Oh, I think it's all right. All right, so we are coming out now on the top side of this bead. I'm going to add my embellishment. Yeah, someone is, I don't know if that's Sam or Jesse, but okay, that's Sam. Sam is saying, would you tell us about the Rhombus kits in the shop? Yeah, the kits that we have in the shop was another design Danielle came up with using the Rhombus beads. It's a bracelet design. It looks a little different than the ones I've shown off today. But if you're loving these beads and want to have exactly the beads that you'll need for a project, you can grab one of those kits and we have a video with how to make that other style of bracelet. So it's just a different design using this same style of bead. But if you're wanting to, make these earrings, we don't have a kit for it, but we do have all of these beads available in the shop. So you can go to the collection I made. If you look in the details of this, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you look in like the description of the video, I put a link to where you can shop the beads that I used in this design. All right, so I will continue. So I'm coming out of my little embellishment. I then took it as you saw and went diagonal. And so now I need to go through the top bead, and I kind of put that there and crossed it over so I knew which side to go through that. So now I know I need to go through it from this side. All right. I have added my embellishments. And so the last step is to add our ear wire. So let me grab what I need for that. So I have 2 ear wires here. We have these in 4 different metal tones. I think this, I don't actually know which one this is, but this is one of the ones we've got in the shop. We've got a few different color options. I think a lot would match with this. So you've got some options to choose from. One thing I did realize is you really want to make sure that the loop is fully closed, because I did have an issue when I was working one of these earrings where it wasn't fully closed and then it like came out, and it was very difficult to get back in. I think I ended up having to like add more thread to be able to get this back on. So in that case, I just recommend making sure. Oh yeah, all right, thanks, Sam. These are our niobium ear wires, which are great for sensitive ears. Yeah, we have these in a few different platings, so you can find whatever match you would like, but they're all really great for sensitive ears. So I made sure that was fully closed. Let me do that to the other one because who knows which one I will grab. And now we're going to be adding this ear wire on the top. So I need to move my thread. Right now it's coming out of the bottom holes on this bead. I'm going to turn and now go to the top side. And now I am right where I need to be I'll show you where we're headed. We are now going to add some seed beads at the top. So you can see in total, there are 5 seed beads there plus the ear wire. And I went for 8-ohs. I thought they were I think the 8-ohs are a nice size match for this beads. I mean, you could definitely do 11-ohs. They'll just be a little smaller. All right, so you start by putting on 3 of the 8-oh seed beads. In this case, I am using the Toho 8-oh rounds in the Ceylon Light Ivory color. We don't have these on the site. We're working on getting a lot more seed beads onto our website. We're running a little low right now. But if you've got any similar colors in your stash, you can definitely use those. So let's put 3 of the seed beads on. And then I'm going to grab my ear wire. And you do want to be thoughtful about which direction. This is something Danielle and I figured out with our last classes. There is a front now to this piece. Right now that you've added the embellishments, this is the front of your design. So you need to be thoughtful when you grab your ear wire, which direction. So I'm going to make sure it's facing the right way, and then I can go through it. The hole. Let me give you a close-up there. So I've got 3 seed beads, and then I am going through the hole in the ear wire. And now I'm going to go back through just the top seed bead there. Just that one. And pull tight. You might definitely got to be careful. It's very easy for that thread to just get looped around the ear wire. So I'm going to get that pretty nice and secure there. And now I need to add 2 more seed beads. So if folks have gone and if you've taken a look at our website, we have all of the Rolla and Rhombus beads. All the colors are up on the website. So I'm super curious what color combos you guys are thinking up. So if you go take a look at all the colors, let me know like what combos. I definitely saw like some of the Celsian kind of brownie orangey rhombus beads look really good with like the green silk. There's a lot of cool combos you can do. So if you go take a look at that, please let me know what combos you're thinking about. Which 2 or 3 colors do you think go together? Okay, so let me just tell you what I just did. I put 2 more seed beads on, and then I went back through the top of that rhombus bead. And now I just want to reinforce this just to make this very secure and long lasting. So I'm just going to go back through this 2 more times. So I'm going to go through the 2 holes there, through that top seed bead. So going through all 3 seed beads, and then through the hole of the ear wire. Then I'm going to go back through that top seed bead. I'm doing exactly what I did before. Down through the last 2. Making sure to keep my tail out of the way, keep the ear wire out of the way so that doesn't get tangled. And then back on this. I can pull it tight. All right, that's the second time around. And I'm just going to go around one more time. Yeah, another option could totally be to use a wire guardian. That would probably be like the most secure option, just to make sure that your thread doesn't come off. That was why I just tried to take that extra time to close out the ear wire. But if folks have any other tips for attaching ear wires or, how they like to link up and make earrings, feel free to throw that in the comments, any tips that you've got. Yeah, because I just kind of yanked that through. I think also having it go through multiple times helps uh, helps keep it more secure as well. But if anyone else has any other tips, feel free to throw them in the comments. All right, so I now have gone through that 3 more times. So now I just need to finish off this earring design. So the way I'm going to do that is I want to get these my working thread and my thread. I want to get them hanging up. I'm just going to tie them together. So I'm coming out the top of that rhombus bead. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go turn around it. And I'm going to go all the way around this the inside hole of these, and they'll be coming out right next to each other, and I can easily tie them together. So my working thread is here at the top. I'm going to go down, do that turn. I'm now coming to the bottom of it. Keep going all the way around. And keep going so then the threads are right next to each other. All right, Judith said she just picked up some of these beads. Would you let us know what colors you grabbed? Did you go for this palette? Did you go for some other colors? I would love to hear. All right, so now I have my threads. They're not coming out of the same hole, but they are coming out of the inside hole of the 2 beads next to each other. So I think that'll work for tying them together. So I'm just going to do 2 knots here, just basic, I guess, overhand knots. I don't know, 2. Let's see, I'm going to do 1 like that. And then a second one. All right, I did 2 knots, and then the last step will be to, I don't want to cut the thread right next to where I knot it, so I'm just going to, each end of that thread, I'm just going to have it go through like 1 or 2 more beads, and then I'll tie it off. So I'm just going to, let's see, I'll go when I take this one through the top. It's definitely gotten a little tighter in here now, so it might just get a little harder to bring your thread through, but it's still doable. So I brought that through 1. And I'm just gonna cut it off with some cutters right here. Just getting as close as I can. Oh, there we go. These aren't quite as sharp as they used to be. All right, and then the same with the other one. I need to add a needle to it so I can see. Where did my needle go? Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I know this colorway really got me excited. It's such a great feel. So I'm going to flatten the end now of my tail so I can add the needle. Okay, got to do exactly how I like. So I like to I want to hold the thread right between my fingers, and then I'm really threading the needle onto the thread. That really makes it so much easier. And I pull that through. I just want to go through at least one bead before I cut it off. All right, trim that off. And there we go. We have got a matching pair of earrings. Thank you all for hanging out with me as I did this demo. This was following the tutorial that that Danielle showed us last week. So I hope seeing it again was helpful. Let's see. Let me tell you just some last details. Let's see. Sam had a question for us. He said, "Can you review how many rhombus beads you will need for this?" So I'll start with the earrings that I made. For this one, I have 6 of the black, 6 of the red, and then 2 of the white stone, and then just two of each of the rollas. And then I have 10 total seed beads. So that is the earrings. And then I think some folks might have caught this in the corner, but I actually started a matching bracelet. So I'm just going to show you this as a little bit of design inspiration. If you want to know how to make the bracelet, just go watch our video with Danielle for last week. Look for the class is called Rhombus Bracelet. And in that we make this one. But you can totally make it with these colors. And you can see I went for this kind of striped pattern. And so all you have to do is just make sure you lay out your design. So just lay out these rhombus beads before you start making, so that as you pick up your beads as you go, you get it in the exact order that you would like. And then the other thing I did a little differently on this bracelet is I actually didn't use any seed beads on this. Instead, I actually found that the matching color of the rolla beads, the black Picasso, and I made that at the end. I tried out using a wire guardian here, and now I can add a clasp. So I brought out a few clasp options. So one option which I think just adds a little extra detail, is we use the butterfly toggle, which is right here in silver. We've got this in 4 different finishes in the shop. So you could choose whichever one you think best matches, or just, which one is your style. Because, I mean, these colors really go with any, if you prefer gold, copper, oxidized brass, or silver, whichever style you like to make with. So I think the butterfly clasp is a great option. And then the other one I like to use is we have lots of these. We just restocked all of our Lotus and Starburst magnetic clasps. This is on a totally different bracelet here. But if you love the magnet ones, still want a little bit of detail. In the same collection that we've got those rhombus and rolla beads, I also put in these clasp options. So especially, I was thinking for this, I was like trying to decide which tone I would go with. I think I would go with the silver. I'd probably go with the silver Lotus. I think would be really fabulous. I would just need to add a jump ring to the end of that. But if I wanted a smaller clasp option, we did just restock this is the Starburst design. So it just has a different pattern on there. And it's also a little bit smaller, but I'll hold them next to each other. So here's the Lotus one, and here's the Starburst. So if you want a little bit of a smaller size, I think that would be a great option as well. So there's a class. And then, in terms of how many rhombus beads you need for the bracelet, so that really depends how long you make the rhombus section of the bracelet. So for this one, we made it pretty long. So with its design, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I use 18 of the aqua opal. So I would need 2 sets of the aqua opal. And then I'd only need one set of the pink and one set of the blue stone for this. But on this design, my plan is actually to only do a lot less rhombus beads. I thought it would be nice as more of just a focal on the bracelet instead of having it go all the way around. So I'm just doing kind of this section a bit longer. And since I'm using roller beads that are bigger, they just, it makes it makes it longer. So this is a single column herringbone stitch that we showed last week in the tutorial. Yeah, so in this case, you would only need, looks like you can see looks like I used 5 to 6 beads of each color when it was a lot smaller. So definitely feel free to just like pause the video later on, take a screenshot, and you can just, if you want, you can count exactly how many beads I did. I do have a larger size wrist. I don't think I have a ruler here right now, but you'll want to adjust. You probably would use a little, might do like one or two less of these if you've got a smaller wrist. All right, I think I answered those questions. Show these off. Any last questions? Let me hear. I can get myself back on the screen too. Go. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and just checking out this new colorway idea for Danielle's fabulous design with Lena's fabulous beads that she designed. I love this is a full collab with so many amazing designers. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, check out our website if you want to grab any of these beads and all of these colors and in a lot more. So I hope you enjoyed our bonus live today. Bye, everyone.